Hey everybody, welcome back to another Monday morning mindfulness. Today I'm going to actually be focusing on utilizing this mindfulness practice if you are dealing with pain, actual physical pain. So the exercise I'm going to tack on to the back of the typical grounding work is going to be something to actually help to manage and alleviate symptoms dealing with pain. So stick around for that. So, like we always do on Monday, let's just go ahead and get settled in and find a good position and close your eyes and just slow your breathing down. If you want to keep your eyes open, that's okay. Just find a particular point and pay attention to that. I'd like for you to bring your awareness to your feet in contact with the ground. But instead of putting the emphasis on where your feet contact the ground, I'd like for you to notice what's on top of your feet. Just be curious about any sensation that's happening on the tops of your feet. Just allow yourself to settle in, and then bring your awareness back to the tops of your feet. Be curious about what you sense there. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is there tightness? If you have shoes on, can you feel the pressure from the shoe against the top of your feet? If your feet are bare, can you feel the breeze? Just be curious about the tops of your feet and any sensations you might feel. And now I'd like for you to shift your awareness, this time to the lower part of your body. And we're simply going to pay attention to any and all sensations you may have from the waist down. Now I know there's a lot of them, but just see if you can go and touch each one of those parts of the body. Be aware of it. Then move on and be aware of the next. And then the next. Good. And now we're going to move up and pay attention to any sensation in the upper part of our body. So our hands, our arms, our shoulders, neck, back, head. Just notice any and all the sensations. And if you need to move around a little bit to really emphasize that, that's okay. Just go ahead and do that. But pay attention to anything that comes up in your awareness in the upper part of your body. So now what I'd like for you to do is to find that part of the body where it hurts. Maybe it's your shoulders. Maybe it's fibromyalgia and it's like your skin all over the place. Maybe it's your stomach because you're dealing with Crohn's, colitis, or just an upset GI tract. A chronic pain, something that constantly comes back or consistently comes back. Maybe it's chemo. Maybe you're dealing with the side effects of that. Maybe you just had surgery. Whatever it might be, I'd like for you, with your eyes closed or staring at that object, to just wrap your mental awareness around where that is. Find where it hurts in your body and bring your attention, your focus, to just that. And once you've found that, just see if it's possible to to detect whether there is a shape. So does this pain, this part of your body, does it have a particular shape to it? See if you can find the outline. Is this shape static, stays in place? Or does it shift and move or sway? If it moves, is it connected to the breath, the expansion, and then the contraction of your body? Just be curious about this pain. Just note the pain. Notice your mind. Your mind may try to push away from this. Find something to distract yourself. But what I'm asking you to do is to just, with purpose, pay attention to it and simply be willing, just for a little bit. That's all I'm asking. To find the shape. Notice if it moves. Now see if you can detect if this shape has a color. Then see if you could notice if there's a texture to this shape. Is it rough? Is it jagged? Is it smooth? Can you see through it? Is it transparent? Or is it solid? Is it heavy or light? Does it pulse from a lightness to a heavy, to a light to a heavy? Be as curious as you can possibly be to find this, objectify this pain in your mind's eye. The shape, a color, a size, if it moves, its texture, its transparency. Really get a good, firm visualization of what this pain looks like. Now what I'd like for you to do is imagine then, on taking your next breath, we're going to draw it out, make it long, and hold. And then we exhale. Good 5-second exhale. Now we're going to do that again. This time what I'd like for you to do is to imagine as we do this that a cushion of air starts to inflate around that shape. So as we inhale, the cushion of air expands out around and holds that pain. And as we exhale, the cushion of air deflates and goes almost back to its original point. But there'll be just a little hairline bag of air still surrounding that pain. And then we'll breathe in again. Hold for a moment and then deflate the bag. Just keep a visualization. And every time you draw a breath, imagine that bag expanding out around the pain, opening everything up, and then as you exhale, it collapses down and you leave yet another thin layer of air around that pain. Let's just do 4 or 5 more breaths. Now just notice that pain. And notice how that cushion of air is still there even after you've exhaled. We now have a slight cushion of air holding that pain. We've expanded ourselves outwards, allowing a place to simply hold the pain. We're not trying to control it. We're not trying to escape it. We're not trying to avoid it. We're simply just being present with that pain. We're allowing it to simply just be. And you can continue to do this for as long as you need to. You can make that cushion of air as broad or as thick as you'd like. And for a good number of people that I've worked with, this technique has been a lifesaver for many people in dealing with chronic pain. This technique can also be applied to emotional pain, to anxiety, to grief, to depression, and even to anger. But I found that it works particularly well when it comes to pain and sadness and grief. And part of the reason this works is just simply slowing down the breath and using the parasympathetic nervous system, using that natural system in our body to just slow things down. 2, by instead of trying to escape, avoid, or control it, we break that habit, that behavioral loop, which oftentimes just simply amplifies what's going on. Even when we jump into something to try to get away from it, I'm not going to think about my pain. I'm going to use this to not think about that. We associate those things together unconsciously, so that when we're thinking of this, not thinking of that, we're actually thinking of that. So if I'm using something to escape from this, that something will become connected to that, will be associated with that, and will amplify that even further. And if we can get that down from like a 5 or a 6 or 7, the pain itself registering, down to a 3 or a 4, and we can just be willing to hold that, knowing that it'll pass. There are some times when we get brief moments away from that. And if we don't, if it's a 4 and we can accept that, then we can still focus on the things in our life that matter the most and move towards those. We can move towards those things instead of away from them. Now if you'd like, I invite you to try a few other techniques that might help with this as well. And one of them is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. I talk about it in my book, and you can find that here. And you can always simply just try a self-context exercise, and you'll find that right here. I hope that you'll just hit like if you like this, if this was useful, just to give me some feedback so I know if this is the direction that I should go in with my videos. And of course, you can always subscribe if you want to. You don't have to if you'd like to hear more from me in the future. And until the next time, may you be well.